There's a reason why so many men who seem like they have everything going for them still find themselves alone, ghosted, or constantly stuck in situationships that never become anything real. It's not always about looks, money, or charm. Most of the time, it's because of the little things, the small, often invisible mistakes that chip away at attraction before it even has the chance to grow. And the worst part, most men don't even realize they're doing them. Today, I want to pull back the curtain and talk about the 10 mistakes that instantly make women lose interest, the kind that silently ruin your chances without you ever knowing why. Because the truth is, attraction isn't just about how you look, what car you drive, or how much you earn. It's about how you make her feel, and these mistakes do the exact opposite of that. Let's start with one of the biggest turn-offs: neediness disguised as interest. There's a fine line between showing that you care and coming across as desperate. When a woman senses that your entire mood, your confidence, or even your sense of worth depends on how she responds to you, she immediately feels the weight of that pressure, and attraction evaporates. Constantly texting, double texting, seeking reassurance, or trying too hard to impress her might seem like effort to you, but to her, it signals emotional instability and a lack of self-sufficiency. Women are drawn to men who want them, not men who need them to feel okay. The moment she senses that her approval is the center of your universe, she subconsciously starts to pull away. Another mistake that kills attraction almost instantly is overcompensating. This shows up when a man tries too hard to prove his worth, bragging about achievements, oversharing about money, or exaggerating stories to appear more impressive. Women are not impressed by men who talk about how amazing they are. They're impressed by men who are amazing without needing to broadcast it. Authenticity is magnetic. Overcompensation, on the other hand, signals insecurity. It tells her that you're not confident enough to let your character speak for itself. And when a woman picks up on that, she loses respect. And where respect goes, attraction follows. The third mistake is being overly agreeable. Now, kindness is attractive, but constantly agreeing with everything she says, never expressing your own opinions, and always going along with whatever she wants isn't kindness. It's passivity, and passivity is deeply unattractive. A woman wants a partner, not a follower. She wants someone who has a spine, someone who can challenge her, inspire her, and stand his ground when it matters. When you erase your own personality to avoid conflict or to please her, you stop being someone she can admire. And admiration is the foundation of attraction. Then there's the mistake of neglecting ambition, or worse, showing complacency. One of the strongest indicators of masculine energy is purpose. It's not about being rich or successful already. It's about having drive, goals, and a vision for your life. When a man lacks ambition or seems content with mediocrity, it's an instant turn-off. It signals to a woman that he's not a leader of his own life. And if he can't lead himself, how can he lead a relationship? A man with passion, direction, and purpose doesn't need to talk about it. It's evident in the way he lives. And that kind of energy is irresistibly attractive. The fifth mistake is poor emotional awareness. A lot of men think that shutting down, acting detached, or hiding their feelings makes them appear strong. But strength isn't about emotional numbness. It's about emotional intelligence. When a man lacks the ability to read a situation, understand her feelings, or communicate his own, he creates emotional distance. And without emotional connection, attraction has nowhere to grow. Women don't want a man who overshares every emotion, but they do want someone emotionally mature enough to connect deeply. When that's missing, she won't feel safe, seen, or understood. And that's a deal breaker. Next, we have something many men underestimate: poor hygiene and presentation. It might sound superficial, but it's far from it. Your appearance sends a powerful message about how much you respect yourself. And by extension, how much you'll respect her. Sloppy grooming, unkempt nails, bad breath, or dressing without care instantly communicates laziness or lack of self-awareness. It's not about being modeled perfect. It's about showing that you put effort into how you show up. A woman notices the little details. And if you can't take care of yourself, she'll question if you can take care of anything else. The seventh mistake is playing games. Trying to manipulate her interest with delayed replies, mixed signals, or fake scarcity might spark temporary curiosity, but it kills real attraction. Genuine connection thrives on authenticity and consistency. When a woman feels like she's being tested, toyed with, or manipulated, trust evaporates. And without trust, attraction has no foundation. Confidence isn't about being distant or unavailable. It's about knowing your worth so deeply that you don't need to play games to hold her attention. Another major turn-off is a lack of boundaries. This happens when a man tolerates disrespect, lets people walk all over him, or allows her to get away with behavior that crosses his limits. Women might test boundaries, not out of malice, but to subconsciously understand your strength and self-respect. When you fail to enforce them, you signal weakness. And weakness is the fastest way to drain attraction. Boundaries show that you value yourself, and a man who values himself is far more desirable than one who tolerates anything just to avoid conflict. The ninth mistake is negativity, constantly complaining, criticizing, or approaching life with a defeated attitude. Negativity is heavy, and it's contagious. Women are instinctively drawn to men who bring lightness, optimism, and emotional stability into their lives. A man who constantly blames others, sees problems instead of solutions, or dwells in victimhood becomes emotionally exhausting. And no one wants to sign up for a lifetime of emotional drain, even if you have struggles. And we all do. The way you carry yourself through them says more about you than the struggles themselves. And finally, the 10th mistake, perhaps the most overlooked, is a lack of presence. You can do everything else right, but if you're not present when you're with her, you'll lose her interest. That means constantly checking your phone, zoning out when she talks, or giving half-hearted attention. Presence is powerful because it communicates that you value the moment and the person in front of you. Women don't just want your time, they want your attention. And when you give it fully, it builds trust, intimacy, and connection, all of which fuel attraction. Here's the thing. None of these mistakes on their own necessarily make you a bad person or unworthy of love. But collectively, they paint a picture that women instinctively pull away from. Because at the end of the day, attraction isn't just about who you are. It's about how being around you makes her feel. If she feels pressured, bored, disrespected, unseen, or uninspired, she'll quietly detach. But if she feels valued, safe, challenged, and deeply connected, she'll stay. Not because she has to, but because she wants to. The good news is that every one of these mistakes is fixable. They're not about changing who you are. They're about becoming more aware of how you show up. It's about shifting from chasing approval to embodying confidence, from proving your worth to knowing it, from reacting to life to leading it. And when you start doing that, everything changes. Women respond differently. The energy you attract shifts, and suddenly, what once felt complicated starts to feel effortless. Because real attraction isn't built on tricks or tactics. It's built on self-respect, emotional intelligence, and the kind of presence that makes a woman feel like she's exactly where she's meant to be. In the end, attraction isn't a mystery. It's a mirror. It reflects the energy you bring into the world. So stop focusing on chasing someone else's validation and start focusing on becoming the man who doesn't need it. Because when you do, you won't have to chase anything. The right woman will recognize it, be drawn to it, and choose to stay. Not because she's impressed by what you say, but because of how deeply she feels when she's around you. In conclusion, the difference between a man who constantly struggles to keep a woman's interest and a man who naturally draws it in isn't luck. It's awareness. These 10 mistakes are not flaws that make you unlovable. They're blind spots that sabotage connection before it even begins. When you stop being needy and start being self-assured, when you replace overcompensation with quiet confidence, when you stand firm in your values instead of bending to please, you transform the way women experience you. Attraction isn't built on perfection. It's built on presence, purpose, and self-respect. And when you embody those qualities, you stop trying to convince someone to choose you, because the right woman will feel the difference and choose you without hesitation. Your job isn't to chase attention. It's to become the man who doesn't lose it once he has it.